and a very warm welcome to ET Studios, powered by Cloudflare. I'm your host, Divina Lasson, and today we'll explore a critical theme that is shaping the enterprise IT landscape. From chaos to clarity, leveraging AI and the connectivity cloud to modernize enterprise IT. So, enterprises today do face a fragmented technology environment. Distributed workforces, legacy infrastructure, rising cyber threats, and escalating data needs. In this discussion, we'll decode how exactly leaders are navigating this transformation, how they are blending strategy with technology to build clarity out of chaos. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming our esteemed guest today. We have joining us Shrenik Bhayani, Regional Sales Head, Cloudflare, and Vikrant Sen Chaudhuri, SVP IT, Concentrix. Right, gentlemen, a very warm welcome to ET Studios. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And we're here to deep dive into a very exciting and very integral topic. We're going to understand from each of you what ultimately modernizing enterprise IT really means, right? With all the emerging technology, all the tools out there, all the challenges that organizations across sectors and across geographies are facing. Ultimately, what does it really mean to upgrade and modernize, especially with all that AI has to offer? So just at the onset, if we can understand from each of you, if you had to describe the current state of enterprise IT, maybe in a word or in a sentence, what would it be? Vikrant, shall we start with you?
Yeah, so IT is very vast, so it's very difficult always to define in one word. But what I actually talk about are very different terms. What I call is a quant transition, means it's a quantum transition stage of IT now. So it's a quant transitions, or because if you look at today the way AI is happening, and what are the most important things we need to look at? We look at that 4 A's, okay, very important for us at this point of time, and that transition is required. What are the 4 A's? 1 A, I talk about AI, no doubt. Second, I need to know is the people need to be agile. The IT infrastructure has to be agile. Third A is attitude or the mindset of the people to adapt AI. And the fourth is aligning to the customer journey. And when I talk about the customer journey, it's not about only the speed and all. It's more of a customer end journey. So these 4 A's and this quant transition stage of IT is very important at this point of time.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Shrenik?
Yeah, like from my perspective, I think enterprises grew really very fast in the last 15 years. And as they grew, right, they started deploying solutions and products basis the need at that point in time. Now, that has resulted into like a big vendor sprawl. Right? There are multiple solutions which are deployed in their data center or probably even on the cloud, but there are quite a lot of them. And the challenge that they have today is how do you manage all of this, right? So while I was talking to Vikrant the other day, he was saying he has taken up a project internally which is like run infrastructure as a code, practically put the code and let the infrastructure run the way you want it, right? In summary, he's trying to create one platform within his organization to run the show, right? So vendor sprawl needs to be pretty much under control. How can you do more with someone and just limit yourselves in terms of dealing with that number of vendors who effectively can do like a complete a vendor consolidation, not just consolidation, but also in terms of who can give you unified security and the outcomes that you want, right? So that's what, in my view, is the current challenges of like an enterprise IT. And AI per se, I would say it's it's still it's still very loosely used word, right? Everyone talks about it, but in real, what has been the business outcome? What is the outcome that you need from the business and leverage AI for that? That's, I think, people are trying to still find out. So in reality, I think it will happen. It will happen very soon, but it's a state where people are trying to figure out how to implement it and get the right business outcomes.
Absolutely. And as you've so rightly said, of course, enterprise is scaling so rapidly, let's say in India and SAARC specifically. What would you say in your vantage point of working with such a wide cross section of industries is some of the biggest challenges that CIOs and CISOs are facing today?
I mean, from my standpoint, again, it's about saying that how the business is still growing and it will grow further very fast, right? how will they cope up to that need of business? And that's what is the major problem that I think CIOs and CISOs have it today. Business is coming with a lot of pressure saying, reduce my time to go to market, right? How can I reduce that time to go to market leveraging technology? That's what I believe a lot of CIOs and CISOs have understood. They are trying to find out solutions around it. One of that, as I said, can a platform deliver the right service to you at on the go, right? So that reduces the time to market. So I believe that's the number one challenge that CIOs and CISOs face internally in terms of giving that right outcome to the business.
Okay. Vikrant, your thoughts? Do you agree with this? I
Yeah,
mean, what would
so
you say are some of the biggest challenges
yeah,
you
so
and your team
so
face?
if you look at the trend or the evolution of technology, what is happening, I'll go back a bit more there. If you look at that, there was a time when it was considered that people will look into the lower layer of the technology. Means I'm not talking about more technology, but if you look at that from extra 25, it came to IP, then it came to internet, then it came on the upper layer of technology, which came last few years on the digital, then automations and RPA, then we are talking about today is on the AI. So challenge is no doubt always protecting the network, making the network more resilient, making the network more secured, making the infrastructure robust from the uptime perspective as well as on the security perspective. With the evolution of AI, the challenge is more, you know, and I know that one of the concept I always tell I everybody I meet, I tell them that we are talking about today zero trust, right? We talk about zero trust, and why I talked about the quant transition is in quantum mechanics or the quantum physics. If you look at, there's a concept which the Toronto University has done, is called as a negative time. So the zero trust concept is will not stay. We need to talk about the AI as a predictive, as a generative, as an agentic, so that it become not a zero trust, it should become a trustless security. That is should be the objective of the whole, and that is what we are looking for from as a CIO CISO perspective, that where how it will be become, when it will become, and what technology will come to make it more. It is possible by the security companies what they are doing to create a kind of tool with the predictive kind, but this trustless, the concept should not be zero trust, it should be trustless.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you for that insight. And I think, Shrenik, a great time for you to come in and perhaps you can share some examples of what truly Cloudflare is doing, because you're here kind of at an intersection of security, connectivity, and all of this so deeply influenced and impacted by AI, right? So, can you tell us how you ultimately see connectivity in cloud, especially enabling everything that Vikrant is talking about, and the security layer being such an important factor
Yeah,
here?
like as a company, we were known in the market years back for doing DNS CDN, right? So it was then, we realized that it's not just about the performance, it's also about the security. That we then built the whole application security core. Post which we realized that our data centers within any cast network can be utilized for a lot more services. And we built the whole SASE or zero trust, whatever way you want to take that as like an industry term, but effectively that got built, right? Next wave for us is how is it that we are not just protecting this application, but how is it that we are helping the customers to build those applications and go with serverless computing? With the number of edges that we have, which is across 325 plus cities with 600 plus point of presence, how can edge computing be done? How can we deliver all these aspects of services to the users who are basically leveraging internet for business and companies who are leveraging internet for business? This is exactly where we are focusing and trying to build and give that right business outcomes to customers in helping the whole aspect of not just security but connectivity, applications, building those applications as a developer framework. And I think so far the going is quite well.
Wonderful. All under one roof.
Yeah, all under one roof, one platform, one unified interface, all logs getting at one place. So I think practically we can get rid of like today's 8 different point solutions that the customer otherwise would have in their data center. Consider it as if like those solutions are getting delivered now from Cloudflare data center, and with one user interface, less skills required at the customer, and which is a big challenge today in the industry in terms of how do you get those skills to run this show, right? So that's where we're trying to basically give those customers and a real impact to their business, right? Like how do you run the show more effectively, efficiently, without really getting into details of how to train your people, how do you really find the talent in the industry, and ensuring that they are all compliant, ensuring that we comply to the required data policies and privacy policies which are defined by the governments, and they can easily conveniently run their business on our platform.
So, Vikrant, hearing this from your perspective as well, looking ahead, how would you say that especially Indian enterprises should look at approaching the modern IT enterprise solution? Right? We've heard such wonderful examples of what we can look forward to from Shrenik. So, especially when it comes to connectivity, AI, cybersecurity, cloud, all under one roof, how would you say from the enterprise perspective you should be looking at the modern take?
Yes, so I'll come to that a bit, later. But I'm just taking his point, what he was talking about. One of the most important part, if you look at probably in this event, here we have probably 50 to 60 companies who have participated, there. And if you look at that, 60% of those companies have a overlap of the products. So from the CISO, CIO perspective, in the next probably couple of years, you will be seeing a lot of consolidations are happening. Because today probably any CISO or CIO are using 20 products to secure their network. But this consolidation will happen over a period of time in the next couple of years. That is what I'm expecting, that most of the CIOs will or CISOs will look into it. As for modernizing IT, as I said that now AI has come. Now he was talking about infrastructure as a code, what we are doing. Now, important is look at that AI is working today is mostly the work which are very day-to-day work which we are converting to the AI. But the challenge will come to put the AI in the technology and the security infrastructure of the organization. How will you do that? Today, what AI we are talking about, that it's a very fundamental AI. And in the security, I'm talking about from the infrastructure and the security perspective. But those are not real, intelligence or the AI we are doing, which can improve the modernizing the IT. That is what very, very important part. I think there we have to do a lot of work. Second is on the side of the computing. As AI comes up, the computing comes up. Because today, if you look at the cost of a GPU is very high, right? And people now talking about the quantum computing. So now I look at as a IT as a full quantum stage, and that's why I talk about that quantum transition is the quantum transition, because that is what we're looking at. Because as long as soon as your the quantum computing will come up, the cost, the speed, because today the limitations of using AI in a mass large scale is the computing. So when the quantum computing comes up properly, it will make really the modernization of the IT. Because in that case, today the companies who are working on the AI, like we also have a product, in Concentrix, we use IX Halo, IX Hero, that we are using for our all the people in the organizations and even for our clients. Similarly, we'll be able to make it more robust, more scalable when the quantum computing comes and use it. All know that some challenges are there in the quantum computing because of the error in the qubits and all, but ultimately that would be the modernization of IT, the combining the quantum computing and the AI to put it in the infrastructure and the security.
Wow, fantastic. What a hopeful and exciting future you're painting there. So, before we wrap up, gentlemen, just from both of you, if you have to give one, I would say, clarity driven piece to all our viewers out there, we're talking to some of the top security experts in the company. When it comes to enterprise trying to move from fragmented IT to future ready IT, really foolproof, everything that both of you have been talking about today, what would it be? That one key piece of advice, Shenik?
From my perspective, it's consolidating, the number of point solutions that are deployed in the existing data centers, bring them onto cloud. It could be any cloud platform. Bring it onto cloud with a platform that gives you one user interface, that gives you the right outcome in terms of the overall security aspect that you are looking for your organization, and reducing the workload on yourself in terms of training and delivering these outcomes from your team, and making the life simpler, easier for all of us to live in a better world.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Vikrant.
I will just talk about it is like a TQA, trustless quantum attitude. That's all.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you here on ET Studios. Thank you for coming and sharing all your insights today. It's truly been wonderful hosting you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for having
and
us
thank
here.
you
Thank
for
you very
having
much.
us here. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right, on that note, that's all we have for you on this episode of ET Studios. But do stay tuned for many more in-depth conversations with the biggest stalwarts from the country. Until next time, many thanks for watching.